Hey guys, Ashley Daniels here for another Real Housewives of New York recap. We are going to Season 8, Episode 2. It is called An Intimate Affair. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Deja vu, guys. Right?
We're all together again.
All together. Hi, we're together with you guys. We missed you so much. I'm Ashley Daniels here for another episode of The Real Housewives of New York. We are on Season 8, Episode 2, An Intimate Affair. I am with my girls. I'm very happy tonight. To my right, I'm like left, right. To my right, I have the beautiful...
Hi guys, it's Megan Stecher, and you can tweet me at Megan Stecher.
Hey everybody, I'm Lyndsey Wegner. You can tweet me at Lyndsey Wegner.
Fern Ronay here. You can tweet me at Fern Ronay.
And you can tweet me at Ashley Daniels. Let's get right into it. This music is just pumping us up. We always run out of songs like the first 2 episodes of every season, though. So we've used up our 2 New York songs. So if you guys have any suggestions, you can tweet any of us or you know, let us know on iTunes or YouTube. So, what did you guys think overall of tonight's episode? Did it deliver in all aspects of happiness?
I think it started off a little bit slow, but it ended really good. Every episode of New York is good.
Mm-hmm. They're always really juicy, and I know we talked about this last week that Beverly Hills you guys felt like wasn't, and I mean I even watched the finale last night and it was like, it was a good episode, but there wasn't anything exciting. Where tonight we're in episode 2, and there's craziness and drama already going on in episode 2 of New York. So I'd say it delivered.
Mm-hmm. Delivered for me.
Yeah, I thought the same thing actually about last night's episode of Beverly Hills. I just think it's an East Coast thing with Jersey and with New York. We always end on a bang and begin on a bang, and we got it. It's banging throughout too, you know. So it was definitely delivered in the drama department tonight. I just couldn't believe. Did you guys think of Dorinda? She's had some balls.
Yes.
The way she talked to Bethenny tonight. We're gonna get into it, but did you think that Dorinda was, you know, right in everything that she said to Bethenny? Did you think that she had those balls?
I think she had balls.
I didn't think she had it in her.
I knew she had those balls. I think so. I think it's her
Yeah.
personality, and it was obvious. She obviously hit a nerve and obviously got pissed and had to say her piece, and I don't blame her.
Yeah.
I mean, this wasn't alcohol fueled like we've seen her in the past, where when the alcohol comes into play, you know that people are just going to throw out whatever they want to throw out. This was actually coming from, with Bethenny, I think, being pissed off, and with Ramona, a genuine place of hurt. And so it's easiest to just respond with anger and frustration coming off of the situation with Bethenny. I would have been scared if I was there. I would have been like Jules, like, let's try and browse, guys. Hey.
Yeah, poor Jules.
Well, as soon as I hear Dorinda's like, back that up, I'm like, okay, I'm backing up, because as soon as she says that, she really means business.
Yes, absolutely. So when I was at NBC Press Day 2 weeks ago, I interviewed Jules, Ramona, and Dorinda, and I fell in love with Dorinda. I mean, I've never met her, so I absolutely fell in love with her. There's definitely 2 sides to her, because as sweet as she is, I was so shocked, and I couldn't believe that she was able to stand up to Bethenny of all people. That's a hard one, to go up to Bethenny. That's not an easy one. Ramona, not as much, but you know. But let's get to the beginning, because we've got a lot to cover. Starting out with Jules. So last week, I'm sure you guys touched upon this, and anybody who watched last week's episode, you saw Jules's unique maternal instincts, so to speak. Sorry. I was like, wait, that's my twin here?
No, we're live feeding right now, and there's people in the chat. Just
beautiful, beautiful. So sorry. Tonight we saw a little bit more. I guess she mentioned her kids, if they want to take a jacuzzi in the morning, they'll take a jacuzzi in the morning. If she's got to have some sex with her husband, if she's running late, whatever it is, because they go to private school, and at the end of the day, they're not going to get kicked out. What are your thoughts on this type of parenting and instilling this mentality early on with the kids? Or do you think there's anything wrong with it?
I don't have kids. I don't want kids, and I feel very reluctant to comment on other people's parenting. I'm like, do whatever works for you, as long as your kid's alive and doesn't grow up to be a serial killer. Like, it's wonderful.
Right.
So I just feel like it's hard to comment, so I refrain from it. And I think she seems to have a, she's not a crazy person. I mean, she might be crazy. She's on the Real Housewives, but she's not damaging her kids, I don't think.
Right.
I guess I'll comment. I'll be the one that comments and say that promoting the idea that it's okay to be late for things sets that up later in life and potentially could make them feel entitled, like they don't need to be on time and that time doesn't matter. And it's not necessarily about themselves. It's about the other people that you could potentially be disrespecting. Your teachers, your fellow classmates, your boss. You can't show up late to work and that be okay. Granted, they're 2 and 5 years old. It's not really life-altering or life-changing right now at this moment, so that's not the problem. I don't foresee this being a forever situation. They're little kids. It is tough to get kids ready and stuff, but you also need to make sure that you're disciplining your children and saying, okay, this is where we have to go. This is what we have to do. Let's get this together, and not kind of let them run the household.
Good point.
And potentially last week I felt like they have a little bit of the run of the house and they want candy or they don't want to eat their dinner, and okay, all right, that's fine.
I agree. Yeah, I think like giving in to what your kids want all the time is very dangerous at such a young age. Like, that's when their brains are sponges and they're forming all their views of the world. And I mean, I don't have kids, so I can't really comment either. I know it's hard to parent. Like, I watched my sister with her 2 kids and it's hard as hell. And that's probably why I don't have kids.
Well, we all don't have kids, so anybody who does have kids or that just feels like they want to chime in about it or knows people with kids, let us know what your thoughts are. I'm very curious to read your
Somebody
answers.
commented and said all things in balance, which I think is
Good point.
a great, everything in moderation.
Yeah, good point. Absolutely. So Bethenny shopping with Dorinda, Bethenny shopping for her birthday gift for herself, and Bethenny, she thinks that Dorinda always tries to sell John. It's the first time we've heard this in the episode. Obviously, this comes back again later on in the episode. Do you guys feel that Dorinda did this last year and that she's doing it a little bit? Or did you only think that once you heard Bethenny say that she does it?
I agree.
I think she's always been doing it. Because Ramona said as much last year that she didn't like John. So I think Dorinda's been defensive about him for a while.
I think it's hard to hear your girlfriend try to qualify everything that a guy does with, well, but he's really, like, that's when you know in the back of your mind something's not right. So I think they've known since we saw it last season, like, not everything's too good over there in that relationship. So I everything Bethenny said, like, totally encapsulated everything we feel, everything they feel. It's like, yes, she is always trying to sell him.
Yeah, but do you feel like there's a point where you have to realize that the more you tell your girlfriend not to date somebody, the more they want to? Like, isn't it best to kind of play that game a little bit and almost say nothing? I know it works all the time. Always works.
Friendships, it has never worked to say, I don't like your boyfriend.
Exactly.
They're going to get defensive and they're going to stay with them longer than they probably should. Like, let it just run its course and just be supportive of your friend.
I thought they'd learned that by now.
I know. I feel like maybe they were good about not saying anything until the bra party, and then
but I feel like you do want to hear those things because sometimes you do have blinders on for something, and so when you tell your girlfriend, hey, maybe you're not noticing this, and then they maybe realize it. I did it a month ago with my girlfriend. I told her something and she did get very defensive. They just broke up yesterday. And it's because of what I said. No. That he wasn't putting her as a priority and he wasn't communicating with her. And I'm like, someone out there is going to communicate with you and want to do all those things. And she's like, you don't like my boyfriend and I don't want to think about anyone else doing that. And I was like, I think your boyfriend's great. But I think that there's someone that will listen to you and communicate with you and put you as that priority. And I don't know if that's him right now.
Did she thank you?
I didn't say anything about it today when we talked on the phone. I just said, what can I do for you right now? There's no I told you so. No one needs to hear that.
Right. Exactly. The way you said it, the delivery was different.
But so I just listened to her and I'm like, you know what, there's going to be somebody else out there that's great for you and that's going to want to do all those things. But I never brought up the fact that I'd had that conversation with her a month ago because there was no point in doing that. She didn't need to hear that again. But sometimes I think we need to hear these things because maybe it did make her realize over the last month, maybe this isn't right. So sometimes I think Bethenny telling Dorinda this isn't necessarily a bad idea, or your girlfriend's kind of, I don't know. It's a fine line.
Yeah, no, you're right.
It's you did a good job at what you said to your girlfriend. I don't think everybody has it in them to talk like that and be as empathetic. So I think it's the way you deliver it. And I think with Dorinda, she's already defensive because of the situations from last season. You know?
I mean, I've had a terrible situation where a girlfriend called me out on not telling her something about a guy. So I think
That's worse.
It's like I feel like we hold back because we feel like it's going to strain our relationship with the girlfriend. But then, you know,
Was it that he cheated on, like something legitimately
no,
bad?
it was that he had lied about his age. And I was actually, another girlfriend and I had found out. So it was like the two of us knew, and we wanted to wait to tell her till after her birthday. It was like a big 3-day long holiday weekend, and we were celebrating her birthday, and we're like, let's just tell her Tuesday. So, and she ended up finding out from another person who found out that we knew. It was a whole mess.
You would have been damned if you did, damned if you didn't.
Exactly,
She was like, it was my
exactly.
birthday. You couldn't have waited on this.
Right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Lose.
I was definitely there.
Yeah. That's why I try to, like, when I hear something, I pretend I don't. I'm almost like, I did not hear that, because now I'm stuck with that knowledge, and now what do I do with that knowledge? But if I didn't hear it, then I can walk away. So Carole shows up as Dorinda and Bethenny are talking, and Carole talks about her lunch last week with Ramona and how she felt about Ramona talking a lot about herself. And I mean, it's not anything that we haven't heard before. So then we have Luann and Sonja. And they go to Sonja's house, and Luann's talking about how she wants to get married again. And as we know, she is going to be getting married at present day, you know, on New Year's Eve. I think New Year's Eve that she's getting married. Over 200 guests we'd read tonight on Radar Online. But at this moment, she's telling Sonja that she wants to get married again, and Sonja says that Ramona called her to reconnect. So what do you guys think about? I feel like it's a little bit choppy right now, like the relationships. Everybody's kind of like not on speaking terms. If we did like a family tree, it'd be really broken up right now, or like a friend tree. So Sonja and Ramona are usually really, really connected, but they're not so much right now. What did you think when you heard that Ramona called Sonja almost as if they haven't spoken every day like we assume they do?
Do you think it's because Ramona's hanging out a lot with Carole and Bethenny, and Luann's hanging out with Sonja, and therefore because Luann and Carole have this issue right now that it's almost separating everybody?
Could be.
But that's like kind of where the line has been drawn, because Luann's hanging out and living with Sonja.
Could be.
That's a really good point.
I feel like the Adam and Carole relationship is still kind of like dividing everyone, because Luann is kind of still pissed about it, and Carole's still pissed that Luann was so rude about it. So I think there's a dividing line for me.
But I have a question about that. Luann isn't saying anything about the fact, well, of course she's not going to cop to the fact that she was talking crap about it over Twitter. And Carole seems to be really bothered by this, and Luann is just kind of blowing it off. I'd be mad too.
Oh yeah, me too. If you were Carole,
Yeah.
oh, I would be so pissed.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be friendly with somebody that was doing that all summer, even if they had I feel like it would have to be a formal apology now, and like stop and like support the relationship. And I don't see Luann. She's saying she's supporting the relationship, but I don't see that.
No, I don't see it either. Luann just doesn't. They are not going to get along. I don't ever see that happening between those two. I also wonder what Heather thinks of the relationship now between Bethenny and Carole, because Heather and Kristen were so close to Carole, and I don't know if that's. I don't think it would divide them. They're really mature, obviously, but if they don't let it get to them, I'm surprised that if it is so that Luann and this whole thing is kind of divided because of Luann and Carole, why it would get to them, but it wouldn't get to, like, the other girls don't really care. So it's like, it's gonna kind of pick and choose and be mature when it comes to this type of situations.
I thought it was interesting how Luann wants to be friends with Bethenny and is so jealous of Carole. Like she's mad that Carole, the whole situation with her niece, but she's jealous of her friendship with Bethenny, which was so clear. And Luann she's like a leech onto Bethenny, it sounds like. And then it's interesting to hear Bethany talk about her, like,
Well, and
not that close.
that comment that she said where
Called up burritos. I mean, for her, I feel like for the Countess to start cursing on camera is a big deal because I think she tries to not do that. And oh, sorry, I had a thought, but it left me.
Yeah, that was a bit.
No, it's very true though.
Yeah, I just remember that comment. That was disgusting
who
and
said
weird.
it about-
Weird for Luann to say that.
Yeah.
Last season, who was saying that Carole was sucking up to Heather? Was it Heather that everybody used to say that Carole? They all said Carole sucked up to somebody last season.
Was it
I feel like
Bethenny?
Carole is just herself, and that's why Bethenny likes her.
No, wasn't
Right.
that? No, didn't
Is Ramona saying that?
Am I wrong, or do you guys have a glimpse of memory
No,
that
I know
happened?
what you're talking about.
You do, okay.
They said like that Carole was somebody's like attached.
Yes, exactly. She was attached to one of them.
Oh, Heather. Maybe Heather and Kristen were saying that.
Like she would
no,
never
Heather
defy
and Kristen wouldn't say that. I don't think.
I mean, she would never go against Heather.
I think Ramona was saying
I think
it
it
about
was
Carole.
Ramona at the party where there was some party
Yeah,
event.
exactly. I'm seeing it in my head. Anyway,
Yes.
someone's gonna definitely let us know in the chat at some point because they're all geniuses. And that's
Oh wait, my thought came back.
What?
It was that Luann is obsessed with Bethenny because she knows Bethenny's like the queen bee
Yes.
of the pecking order on this show, and it's like I need my camera time. I need to secure myself on this show for the next
the Lisa
for season
Vanderpump.
9.
Yeah.
So yeah, she is the Lisa
She's
Vanderpump.
Lisa Vanderpump of New York.
Except I like her, unlike.
I love Lisa Vanderpump.
Oh my god, we'll talk later.
Oh my god. Okay, Ramona's apartment. Thought it was interesting. She got rid of the blinds but kept the furniture, or at least it looked like she kept the furniture. But got rid of the blinds and was like, this is the new place. And no more piano. But did you guys see anything else that was really different about the apartment?
No, I didn't notice.
I didn't
other than the
notice.
piano.
She just said it's cleared of Mario. And
Yeah.
But when I saw the video, I got sad. I was like, I forgot how handsome he was and that, like, he loved her so much. I'm like, he's a special breed. To put up with Ramona for all those years.
For all those years.
I don't
yeah.
know. I just can't. I don't like him at all.
Oh,
I
really?
I don't like for
cheaters.
what he did.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, after that, then
Yeah.
I hate him, and like, but I used to love
It's
it.
just
I used to
sad
love
to
them
see-
when they
Yeah.
renewed their vows. I
Yes.
loved that season. And yeah, that
Yeah.
was great.
It was sad
It
to
is sad.
go back and visit that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's in a good place. I mean, she's Ramona, you know, but she's in a good place. Like, at least she isn't crawled under, you know, blankets, like crying and like
Eating ice
eating
cream.
her thoughts and emotions, you know.
Which would be totally acceptable.
Exactly, exactly. Well, speaking of eating, so Dorinda comes over. The two of them are eating, and they are having hot flashes.
I love
As
it.
I was too here. I was the only one sweating, so I felt like I
We're
related
all
to
a
that
little
situation.
warm today.
We're all running hot today.
We are. But what did you guys think of their discussion during lunch? They were talking about. What were they talking about actually?
The bra party.
The
Yeah,
bra
the
party. Oh, the
lingerie party
brassiere
coming up.
party. Yes, yes. And then they went over to the AC. It wasn't a lot that they talked about.
really.
but
It
they-
wasn't a lot of
yeah.
substance.
No, not a lot of substance. But it's always interesting to think about why the production company keeps certain things and cuts certain things. Like, why does that
Yeah.
lead to the story? Why is that?
Right.
add
Maybe
to
they
the
were
story?
cementing like they've been friends for a long time.
Yeah.
going
Since
back.
there was going to be the fight later.
Yeah.
There was a lot of little conversations in the beginning about who's friends with who right now and why and what happened over the summer. So I think we're still establishing in this episode.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
The fireworks.
It's amazing to see the history, though. 20 years, Dorinda and Ramona as friends. 20
crazy.
years. It's incredible.
Crazy woman.
Yeah.
Crazy woman.
So, oh my God. So Bethenny and Carole have a dinner. And, yes. Well, one important thing they did talk about at the lunch that Dorinda and Ramona talked about was Avery and Hannah. Briefly, and she mentioned how Avery does come home and then leaves, and like how Hannah is still in high school. She's a junior.
No, she's like
Or college, is it?
college. But she had
Hannah?
she had stayed home for a year.
Right.
So she's trying to kick her out of the nest.
Right.
It's the complete opposite.
I'm trying to get her to leave.
Right. And so then we have Bethenny and Carole, and they go to dinner, and they are discussing that Carole is saying she has 5 good summers left. I felt so bad when she said this. It was almost like she was like admitting that she just wants to enjoy this time with Adam because she feels like there's not much left for her. It was sad.
I didn't understand it. Did she mean in her life, like she's only going to live to 55?
No.
I don't think she just think it was like
Well, she explained it as
Symbolic.
she's like, I don't mean I'm going to be an old lady or dead. It means that like I'm probably going to be in a different place in my life at that point. And explaining before that in person, saying like he wants kids, he wants this.
Oh, he does want
So I
kids.
think she's saying like if we're still together in 5 years, like that's when I'm going to have to call it a day because I'm going to be at a certain place in my life where it's like no longer okay for us to be like a couple
But
if you want
also, he'll be
kids.
35 and
And
has
he'll
to
want
find
kids.
somebody.
Right.
It's like this is the moment, and she did make a really good point. She said, I cherish time so much more than I did in my 40s and
Crazy
younger.
to hear that.
Yeah.
I thought she was still in her 40s. Like,
I did too,
yeah.
and it hit home. I'm sure for all of us, just because we are young, and not that she's not young, but you really have to enjoy every moment because you could see her like holding on to this time with the puppy and Adam, and like she knows it's not forever.
Yeah, that's sad.
It is
made me
really
really
sad.
sad.
Yeah.
Anyone who deserves to be so happy is her.
She's fantastic.
I know, she's the best. She really
She's
is.
such a bright personality.
I feel like if she didn't want to have kids, it's like maybe being open to adoption. I just feel like there's such a great, there's something so great there, but it's sad that she's at 5 good summers left. And of course, Bethenny brings us back to, brings a little comedic relief to it and says, this is the summer and the fall of 0 Fs.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that they don't have to beep out anything too. That's just I love it. Listening to TV now, and they don't have to beep it out, but I did beep it out, beep myself out. But the summer and fall of 0 Fs. So if that's the case, then this is going to be a very interesting season. Because Bethany's back again. This is the second season she's back, and if that's her mentality, then
She's selling mugs and tank tops and sweatshirts with that on it right now. So,
Oh my
she's
gosh,
all
that's
in.
great.
well, I wanted to buy one, and then I was like, oh, it's a little overpriced for me.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I'll make it a DIY with some glitter. I don't know. I was like, oh, I really do enjoy that phrase. It's like it's a good motto.
Zero. We can also do one letter, and then we can all do the other letter too. Fine, enough for both of them. So Ramona and Bethenny then have a conversation over the phone. And did anybody notice? Anybody in the chat as well? Did you guys notice the Post-it with the smiley face on the mirror?
the
That was
green
like,
Post-it.
what was that? It's like, remember to smile?
Maybe Avery wrote it to her on
It wasn't
Ramona's
wrote,
mirror.
but it just was a smiley face.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like it
On a
didn't
Post-it.
say anything inspirational.
Nothing.
It was just a circle.
Literally a smiley face.
well, maybe
It's
Avery
weird.
left it or something.
Aw.
Maybe. It was cute. But they're talking about John and the inappropriate Viagra discussion that Ramona's friend was stuck in with John when John went downstairs at a party, and then this lady who's a very close friend of Ramona apparently went back to Ramona and told Ramona. How do you guys feel about Ramona talking about Dorinda and John to Bethenny and not directly to Dorinda, being that they have a 20-year friendship?
This is where everything went wrong for me. As soon as I heard her say, how do you feel about, and I wrote it down, and I could have this wrong or backwards or a few words transposed,
Right.
which changes the whole meeting,
We're not
so I'll have to
judging.
watch it. But
No judgment.
I wrote down that she said, do you think I should tell all these strangers what John said about Dorinda? And I'm like, oh, she's planning on telling in front of everyone tonight. That, or she meant something about like, do I tell her about what he said to these strangers?
I think she
Maybe
meant
that's what she
all
meant.
these strangers think about him.
Okay.
Maybe.
It just was also like, it's so something she could have said to Dorinda off camera, or at least like the two of them alone, if she really wanted to make this on camera, which still would have pissed Dorinda off. But she did it in front of everyone, and I knew she was going to as soon as she said that to Bethenny, which is where everything went wrong for me.
I think she might have meant he said it in front of the strangers.
Okay,
downstairs when he was
okay.
smoking,
Yeah.
But still,
I
you can
wouldn't put it
tell
past
what
her.
she meant she was
Exactly.
going to do, how she was going to say it.
But she also said when he's talking badly about Dorinda. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I condone what he said, but I don't also think that that's like the worst thing that someone could say. I mean, you take your girlfriend home and you mess around with her. I mean, you're an adult. You should keep that to yourself. But he's drunk, and I don't think it wasn't like he was like, he wasn't speaking. I'm gonna get eaten for this.
And that.
Ripped apart
You
because
can
of
speak
saying
your
that
truth.
he wasn't being derogatory. Like he wasn't calling her a derogatory name. He was talking about
right.
doing derogatory things to her in a poor manner. But I don't think he said anything necessarily mean about her. That like Ramona was like, oh my gosh, you said these horrible things. But like you said, I would have approached Dorinda and been like, this is what he was saying to a group of people. You need to make sure that he's not saying these things to a group of people.
Yeah, I just don't think he has any idea what boundaries he should not cross, because there are so many moments where he says things you're just like, huh?
He doesn't have any tact.
Yes,
He's
exactly.
classless.
He's shifty.
Yeah.
And then he kept saying shifty, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I'd love to have an interview bite of her explaining her version of shifty, because it would be really good.
Yeah.
It would be
You know
really,
her.
really good.
You know her.
But yeah, like, I agree with you, Lyndsey. I don't think it's not like he said, "Oh, I'm with all these girls every night." Like, who's Dorinda? I don't care what.
Exactly.
Right. He was just
Right.
kind of bragging about, like, he was kind of being like a schoolboy. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I just
His
got her
conquest.
pants or whatever. He's excited to be with her and clearly, very excited and said too much. But at the end of the day, I agree with you, Lyndsey, in that sense. It
Heck
wasn't
yeah, if they
classy,
can go
though.
at it for 6 hours,
Yeah, I mean,
more power to you.
exactly.
God bless them.
Dorinda.
Right, at least they're doing it. I mean,
Yeah.
like, there's
True.
so many housewives from other franchises that are, like, not doing it, and we don't have to get
Now
into
we
that.
know why she likes him.
Exactly. She said they have good sex.
Right. I mean, I don't think you should ever say anything about someone who lost their partner in life. It's like,
Right.
if they're smiling, let it be.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
So they discuss that. Bethany doesn't say to her, hey, like, don't say anything. Bethany, if anything, kind of agrees with the situation. And then they talk about the brassiere versus bra and how if you're born before the 60s, you call it brassiere. So anybody born before the 60s, please let us know on YouTube or iTunes if you call it brassiere or bra.
My mom doesn't.
My mom doesn't either.
My mom says bra,
My mom
too.
says bra too.
My mom was born 59, though, so I feel like she's on the cusp of brassiere bra.
I think my grandma maybe used to say brassiere.
I think my grandmother might have too.
I think we should bring it back.
My aunt said brassiere.
Oh,
yeah?
They were older. My
The
mom.
millennials
would
are
say
bringing it
bra.
back.
The brassiere.
The brassiere. Go to
like
Victoria's
it.
Secret
It's
for the
fun.
What
brassiere.
about the little like lacy bralette things? Can we call them a brassiere?
Yes.
A brassiere.
Speaking of brassiere, can we just talk really quickly before I get into it? Whoa, what the bra size is. People were either like a -2 or they were like a double F. Like, what? All aspects of the spectrum.
And they could do it by looking at somebody.
I think we never got to hear the real size Bethenny is from the experts, and
No.
she's calling herself an F. Like, holy
Well,
moly.
actually, my sister worked at Nordstrom in the bra section for quite some time, and I did learn that they can eye it. They can almost figure it out by looking, but also that, like, they do go up to letters like E and F and G. And,
Oh, yeah.
And actually, people that are wearing C's are probably higher up. So it's crazy. I couldn't believe it either. But I couldn't believe that she would be at 28. That Carole would be at 28. That's like limited
That's
too.
like- right.
so skinny though.
I mean, that's your frame. And like, so when they were talking, when I think Carole was even saying something about boobs, and like, that doesn't have anything to do with your cup size. That has to do with your frame. And if you're small or tiny, a 30, there's plenty of people there. I'm a 32.
I'm a 32 as well.
So you're tiny. You got this little. So I feel like 30 isn't too far off, or 28. But 28 sounded.
I've never even heard of
I never
that.
even
I've
heard of
never
it
heard of
either.
28.
I gotta go buy a 28 bra, and then I'm gonna bring it in, and I'm gonna wrap it around us and
Yeah.
show us what this person really
It's gonna fit
might
the
be
edge
a
of the microphone.
It might be a special order online or something.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think Bethenny knows that. Isn't Bethenny an F or a G from Bethenny ever after she went to that bra lady?
Yeah, but she was
remember.
also
I don't remember that.
breastfeeding, right, at that time? Or wasn't she like she just had a baby?
Oh, you're
That
right.
sounds ginormous. Like,
Yeah.
she's a really smaller woman
Small.
as well.
But the letters are different. So like
Yeah.
their version of C is like F or something like that.
well,
And
the
F could be
inches.
F could also be, because if you go up to bigger than a double D, then you're actually an E. Then you're actually an E.
Oh.
And if you go up to a double E, then you're actually an F. So if you do triple D, that actually means that you might be a single F. It's like really weird that they, like, my girlfriend has really, she goes to this special bra shop. If anyone in Los Angeles needs a good bra place, you have larger chest Jeanette bras. I heard, she tells me they make swimming suits, they make bras,
Great.
but they make them pretty. You know how like they can't
Yeah.
find usually like pretty cute bras, and they do that there at Jeanette Bras, but she has the struggles and talks to me about
This is a great segue to the bra party that we were about to talk about. Thank you, Lyndsey, for the great segue. Dorinda's bra party, filled with food and what do we have? Like lots of shellfish, which some people cannot have, as we noticed with Jules. So I'm gonna let Lyndsey go here with this one because she's so passionate about it. And if anybody saw last season, when who was it? Kristen, who put the glass in the ice last season?
Heather.
Heather put a glass in the ice last season, I believe, and Bethenny freaked out. So we see Jules at the party, and she goes and touches some shellfish, and then realizes it's not kosher, and washes her hands with like a lemon, and then sticks them in the drumroll, please, Lyndsey.
She sticks them in the ice bucket that the ice is coming and being put in people's drinks. Your hands in the ice bucket. It's my biggest pet peeve when I'm bartending. Somebody reaches in and grabs fruit. they're reaching over a thing and grabbing fruit out of there. And I literally slap people's hands. And they look at me like I'm crazy, but I go, would you want somebody that came back from the bathroom touching that lime that's in your drink right there? Would you feel comfortable? Somebody's hand was on that lime before it went in your drink. And they go, well, no. And I go,
do we think that she actually knew what she was doing?
I don't think she realized what it was. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt on that, but that was an immediate...
Yeah, we all
gagged.
Like, we all gagged as well. Like,
I feel like I don't put it. I feel like she did know what she was doing, and it's like she's one of those people that's all about her. Like she's wealthy, she's Upper East Side or wherever Bethenny said she lived, and it's
what's
like
it called?
there's
District
never consequences for what they do or how they act, and so she's just one of those people that it's like it's fine, whatever, just get more ice. You know, that kind of a person.
Really
yeah, it was a big bucket of ice that she
Could
just
she
stuck
have
her
thought
hand.
that it was the ice that you just like put?
That's what I
bottles
thought
in?
originally, and then I saw it had a scoop in it
Right. That's what I
for your cup, and I was like, oh
gonna taste
Jesus,
like fish.
no, so gross.
Ice is gonna taste like fish.
Well, you can't use it after that. That's
disgusting.
I didn't see anybody pouring out the ice.
You can't use the bowl. The entire bowl has to be cleaned.
Yeah.
Like it has to be literally rinsed, wiped out, wiped down, dry before.
I want to know what Bethenny thought, because she did not see that, because that would have been a fight. I'm surprised no one leaked it to her, like nobody in the
I
production
wish
side.
we could tweet Bethenny and like actually get a response to that because I would love to honestly hear her opinion
Yeah,
about that.
me too. I'm sure she'll tweet
I'll
about
check
it
her
tonight.
Twitter
Yeah, check her
right
Twitter.
now. See if she wrote that.
So that happens. That's the beginning of the party, and it's all downhill from there.
Carole mentioned though that Jules was really skinny too, though.
Yes.
Yeah, that shocked me.
This was crazy. So Ramona sees Carole and she's looking at her and she's like, "You look amazing, amazing, but did you got skinnier? You must be hanging out with Jules." And she's like, "Who's Jules?" She's like, "You're hanging out with Jules." She's like, "Jules, come here. I want you, my two skinny friends, to meet." And like they're both like, "Hi." And then they got on the topic somehow of breastfeeding, and then they're like, "Nice to meet you." It was just so awkward. But then Carole even says what Bethenny said last week. She's like, they're skinny, and then there's like there might be a problem. I don't see much of a difference between Carole and Jules. Do you guys see much of a difference? Body wise, they're both so thin. I can't tell difference.
I was just shocked Carole would even care about, like, that she would even say something. Like, it seems so un-Carole.
It seems like Bethany's getting a little bit of Bethany's coming to Carole, and it's a little more little balls now.
But she also said though that she would never ever say she would never skinny shame anyone. She said obviously America has a problem with obesity, so I would never ever say that there's an issue with people being too thin. I think because she's already gotten flack for it herself. But they're both super thin.
Between Bethenny, Carole, and Jules.
But we've met Carole, and Carole in person doesn't seem sickly thin.
No,
and what it
no.
sounds like Carole and Bethenny are saying is Jules looks sickly thin.
do we think it's what Jules wears? Because when I interviewed Jules too, she had a dress on that was like loose, and like, you know when you wear looser, like, is it looser? More loose clothing, you tend to look smaller than if you wear tighter clothing, then everything's just hugging you so much that you see everything. So could be her choice in clothing too. Carole wears very fitted outfits. So does Bethenny. So
you met Jules.
I met Jules,
And
yeah.
did you think
I didn't think she was too skinny, but I also wasn't really looking. I was interviewed, but like I noticed she was just super tall. Everybody's taller than me, but she was really tall. She had like a loose dress on with like spaghetti straps. When I look back at the pictures after I heard what Bethenny said last week, I was like, oh, she is really skinny.
Yeah.
But because she's so tall, when I see someone really tall and skinny, I just think that's because they're tall.
Right.
So I wasn't startled by it.
I think it's like her shoulders and arms look so thin to me when they're exposed that I'm like, ooh. And I Googled her last week after our show, and there were pictures of her from when earlier in her relationship with her husband where her cheekbones weren't so pronounced.
I saw that
So she
too.
looks like a little fuller bodied, a little more healthy-ish, shall I say. And it's like, oh, she's a lot skinnier now. I don't know.
And she's had kids now.
Yeah.
Maybe she's stressed.
Maybe. But that's the way. So that's what Ramona says, and then they're like, "What?" And then we go into Bethenny. Then there's a commercial, and we come back, and we actually had to rewind this because we were like, "Wait, where's the segue to this?" It's like they literally chopped everything, and we just see Bethenny all of a sudden sitting with Dorinda saying, "Why do you always defend John?"
I think Dorinda said, let's not pretend. She said something like, let's not pretend. And Bethenny was like, if we're not pretending, then let's talk about
But
this.
it wasn't pretend about John, right? It was like a completely different subject.
Yeah, they were talking about something else.
And then we go
Ramona
back to
was.
right.
Yeah, they were talking about Luann, actually. They were smack talking the Countess, kind of.
Because
And then-
she was coming to Bethany's party when Bethany hadn't even invited her yet.
Yes.
And I don't even know how all of a sudden the John thing happened.
No, we
Right,
don't know.
right,
we
right,
rewound
right,
it, and there's no
Like,
reasoning
Well,
why.
I wrote down Dorinda saying, let's not pretend. And then Bethenny was like, let's not pretend.
Oh, she used that as her.
I thought that was before the maybe it was before
It was
the
before the
commercial.
commercial.
That's
Yeah,
why.
yeah,
So when
yeah.
you come back from the commercial, it was just like
Yeah.
yeah.
Right into
Right.
it.
How do we think the approach was? Do you think that Bethenny was right in her approach? Because she did in front of everybody. She did what Ramona probably would have done if she started the conversation, just because, it's not easy to bring someone to the side, I guess. I mean, I don't know how it's not easy. I think it's very easy to bring someone to the side and talk to them. But it seems like that's something that was a big mistake on Bethenny's side. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
I felt bad for Dorinda because
Yeah.
she's like, she's probably thinking, like, he's not a bad person. He's not cheating on me. He's not, like, if he were doing serious things behind my back, I would want to know. But don't, like, say in front of a bunch of people these embarrassing things that he did that for her aren't deal breakers. So she's like, give me a break. I love him. And, like, be quiet.
At her party, too. It's
And
her
her
party.
whole point that she's like, did he actually do something to offend you? And so he pitched business ideas to Bethenny. That's not offensive. It might be annoying. Where she's like, well, then I'll have him apologize to you, but he didn't do anything to offend you, so I don't really, don't pitch ideas to Bethenny, John. Okay, all right, cool. Like, that's literally solved instantly.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. I think off camera, and somebody in the chat said it would have been much better off camera, but that's not the Housewives, and that's not the show.
Well, even if it was on camera, but it was not in front of everybody else.
Right.
And also, it's at
Everyone.
Dorinda's party, too. It's like, and
Right.
they haven't even started wearing the bras. Jules steps in, which was nice of her, and she's like,
Thank
this
goodness.
is not right. Like, this is her party. But I just feel like no matter what John does at this point, he's already not liked by almost everybody there. So he can't do right at this point. So no, he's damned. And whatever happened this summer at Bethenny's house is not leaving her mind. And it's like there's more than what we're hearing. She's obviously, like, you could see, like, she wants to say it, but she won't. Whatever it is
Yeah.
really upset her when they came home drunk. I don't
There's
see the problem
there's
with
an
that,
issue
though.
with this drunken behavior. Something must have happened that is not coming
What's
out.
the worst? So let's all think realistically. The worst case scenario, right? They're both drunk, right? And the worst case scenario would be, other than obviously death and everything related to that. Trashing the house, maybe like taking his clothes off, like, I don't know, throwing up in the house, like. But it doesn't seem like anything like that happened. It just seems like they were out really late and they were drunk and they were partying.
Maybe John, like, touched Bethenny inappropriately.
Maybe.
That's the only thing other than, like, 911 and ending up
Right.
naked I could think of.
I think that they're making the comment that Dorinda's saying, I haven't been drinking. I've been really, really good. I'm not drinking alcohol and I haven't been doing a whole lot of that. But Bethenny's like, no. Yes, you are. Why are you saying you're not when you are? And I think that may be the issue that Bethenny has with it, is that she's claiming she's not drinking, but she is.
Can you say you're not drinking if you really aren't drinking and then, like, you have one night? Can you actually claim that?
I would say.
I said
would
that
say,
last
yeah.
week. I never drink.
Yeah.
But then when I go to weddings or I go to, like, out, I get
You have a
drunk.
good time.
And then I'm like, I love everybody. And,
Yeah.
like, I'm a drunk. But I'm not a drunk. I'm
Right.
like, yep, this is my going out night.
But Dorinda drank with Ramona at lunch. She drank at the jewelry thing. She drank at the bra party. So right now she's saying she's not drinking, but she's drinking.
Yeah, true.
So if that's the same thing that Bethenny was talking about, where she's saying she wasn't, but sees multiple occasions where this is happening, I can understand Bethenny being annoyed. And then if they're coming home into her home being wasted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they must have been beyond
Yes.
wasted, and she keeps claiming they had to be drug out of there. And the fact that Dorinda's like, oh, no, like, nothing makes Bethenny more crazy than if you're not going to be honest. So I think that's where all the friction's coming from, where she's like, just be honest, just, admit that John was trying to be sleazy and, like, pitch me deals when you weren't around, trying to ask me for my phone number when you weren't around to pitch me more shit. And then, then you guys got fall down drunk at my house and they were screaming and fighting apparently about Hannah. Like, I think she just wants her to own up to it. Well, why would Dorinda want to do that in front of a room full of people? It's rude.
Exactly.
Not in the circumstance.
No.
Not at a
Exactly.
party she's throwing.
Right. No, I agree. And then I think the real problem happens when Ramona decides that it's the perfect timing to also explain the Viagra sort of story that we talked about.
Abort.
And then Bethany's like,
We were laughing so hard.
oh my God. And Bethany was sitting as close as I'm sitting to Megan right now. So Bethany
Like,
probably
even
wanted
closer.
to get out so badly.
Like, I
and
think
she's
their
like,
ass cheeks were touching. Like, they
Yeah.
were so stuck onto that
yeah.
couch.
And then the craziest part was, after Ramona says this, Dorinda's not mad at Bethenny. She's now mad at Ramona because she said that they're 20 years of a relationship. What do you guys think of that?
She said Ramona crossed a line.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think she was so embarrassed because she got really quiet and had that weird half smile. Like, it was like a whole different...
Who, Dorinda?
Dorinda did. Like, it was so different from when she was just mad at Bethenny. So it was like even worse. Dorinda's coming out. And I agree with her. How would you do that to somebody you've known for 20 years?
That's when the real Dorinda comes out. And she's flipping out.
Back that shit up.
And it's, think about it, if Ramona had been drunk and like, oh my God, you guys, and did it, I don't think it would have been such a big deal. But Ramona was so dead serious about this being an issue and her not liking John that it became bigger than it was.
Yeah.
And like she said, Bethenny and her have just known each other for the past year. Her and Ramona have been friends for 20 years. This was not the place to bring it up. It was not the time to say it. And I think I think it was genuinely embarrassment and hurt.
Yeah,
Do you think
she was
Ramona
so
felt
hurt.
bad? Do you think Ramona felt bad?
No.
I don't think Ramona felt bad, but seeing the hurt in Dorinda, because it's like Bethany's my housewives friend, but Ramona's my real friend.
Yeah.
She was,
Now, it was not very clear as to the next week when they show John coming in, but we did see Dorinda leave in this episode. She walks out the door, right? So is this a continuation of the
It
same
says to
party?
be continued.
So that means that Dorinda may have walked out, either called John, but John was...
He was already on the way, remember? They
He's
talked
already on the
earlier.
way.
He's coming at 9
so
o'clock
she
for
called
them
him
to go
and
to
filled him
dinner.
in because he walked in with a vengeance.
Yeah.
But he was drunk.
Already drunk.
He walked in and attacked Bethenny.
my God.
I can't wait for next week.
they're gonna be
Oh my
like,
God.
told you so.
It was so
I mean,
crazy.
his words were, what, you stole the skinny girl idea or
Yes.
something? And then, and then she's on fire, Dorinda style.
Also crazy that Carole defended Bethenny in her thoughts about John. Carole did defend her, and I mean, I don't know if I
Didn't pick up on it.
I
Yeah,
think
of
John
course.
is like the things he does, I think are deal breaker. Like, I would be embarrassed and I would not want to be with someone like that. But if they're not deal breakers to Dorinda, then everyone should just shut up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, it overall I really feel like it was so wrong to do to a friend of 20 years. And I mean, they looked fine when I saw them. I even asked them, like, how you guys doing? Like, it seemed like they were okay.
Sure.
They said that a lot of the arguing this season will be between, I believe, Jules and Bethenny.
Ooh, good.
So Jules is probably going to stick. Jules kind of, I feel like, is replacing Kristen in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like she will surprise us. She'll
Yeah.
step up to the plate.
We kind of saw it a little
Yeah.
last week.
Yeah.
I
This-
like
this
anybody
week she
that'll
was
go
quiet.
toe to toe with Bethenny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It's entertaining.
It's going to be very entertaining. And I don't know what else would should we just get into next week? Is there anything else you want to add?
Quickly.
I'm so excited for next week. Let's just get into it. Predictions, yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Wait, did Dorinda drop a
Your
Mario
AfterBuzz
bombshell?
TV predictions.
Yeah,
She
did,
did,
say
but they
something.
didn't say anything.
No, Dorinda. Yeah, so Dorinda said, I knew about Mario. I never said anything on
Yeah.
camera. So that's sad.
I wonder
Then
if
can
they'll
you
talk about
imagine?
that in more. Yeah.
Imagine doing that.
But
for
a
your
real
friend.
friend wouldn't say anything. So she may bring up that she's like, I've got stuff on you, but I would never ever say that, and I would never ever do that like you just did to me, as a point of like, look, I knew stuff was going on and I never threw you under the bus, and you just did this at my own party that I was hosting. I'm really, really interested to see what happens next week with John.
Sorry.
I think this is going to be really bad, and it's going to break some of the girls' friendships with Dorinda, I believe. It's gonna,
We see Dorinda and Bethenny out at a dinner after, and instead of Dorinda apologizing for John's behavior, which I thought maybe she would do. I don't know the whole story obviously yet, but instead she was almost defending John again, it looked like. Did you guys see the same thing?
I guess. It got weird when she was like, you're not invited, and Dorinda trying to grab his arm and kick him out. It was ugly.
But then it looked like she got over it and was on his side after.
I
well,
couldn't
she's
tell.
still going to take his side, I feel like, at the
They're
end of the
still
day.
together, right? I think. It looks
Yeah,
like
it looks
they're
like
still
they
together.
are.
I don't know.
I can't wait for Bethenny to go toe to
Oh
toe
my
with John.
God.
I just want to know what it is that she sees in him. I am really curious because she is amazing. I just love her. I think she's fantastic. I think she's just an awesome friend and an awesome woman, and I really look forward to hopefully having her on our show at some point this
Yeah, that would be
season.
awesome.
It'd be
Great.
to get to know her more, but so I don't know. I would love to just ask her right out. What do you see in him? Because We're not
I don't
giving a lot.
know.
We're gonna-
Bethenny describes him as a used car salesman, which I could take offense to because my father is in fact a used car salesman.
That is not nice.
But I'm not offended at all because I actually think it's hilarious, and I
is
totally know what she
funny,
means.
actually.
He's
Yeah.
such a used car salesman. Like
Yeah.
she's so, I don't know, not like that. It's very strange. They're an odd match.
Yeah. Anyway, it's been some show. Been some second episode.
Such a good show.
Where can we find you all? In
This
the
is
meantime,
Fern. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Fern Ronay. My first novel, Better in the Morning, will be released April 26th, so follow me for release information.
This is Lyndsey here. You guys can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Lyndsey Wegner, on my blog, lyndsey.blogspot.com. And next week, April 20th, MTG Pro Tutor, which is on iTunes, Stitcher, and any podcast listening device, is going to be releasing Magic, the story, which I'm doing voiceover for.
Yay.
So if you guys do want to hear my voice more, some of I know you do, I know don't. But if you do want to hear it, check it out on iTunes.
Hey guys, it's Megan, and you can find me on Snapchat, Twitter, and Instagram. It's all at Megan Stecher. It's MEGANSTECHER.
amazing. And you can find me on Twitter and Periscope at Ashley Daniels, and Instagram is Miss Ashley Daniels. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.